Good morning, Franklinton High School. I am Miss Hall and I am your Assistant Principal of Discipline. So I'd first like to start by saying welcome back to all of our returning students, and if you are new to us, we are so glad to have you here. This morning I will be covering the discipline procedures from the Code of Conduct. However, before I begin, I think it's important for us to define discipline. The way I define discipline is to train ourselves to act in a responsible and respectful manner. It is the goal of FHS to prepare you for any future endeavors, whether that be military, the workforce, or if you're going to college. Ultimately, our discipline procedures are in place to help you create better habits. I first want to start with something that I consider the easiest yet most important habit. When you address an adult here on campus, you should always start with Mr., Miss, or Coach. And when you're answering a question, it should always be yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, or no sir. Before I begin going over the individual infractions, I want you to understand that the procedures apply to you whether you're here at FHS, on the school bus, or at a school-related event. If there is an infraction, we do consider a few things before we give a consequence: age, maturity, and placement of the student, willingness to make restitution, seriousness of offenses, prior conduct, attitude of the student, cooperation of parents, and willingness to enroll the student in an intervention program. So we're going to start with Group 1 from the Code of Conduct. These are considered minor infractions: running, making excessive noise in the hall or building, cheating and or copying the work of another student, displaying any behavior that is disruptive, loitering, persistent unexcused tardiness or late to school or class, littering, selling, trading, and bartering items on school property. Some possible disciplinary actions that we have here at FHS would be a conference. That would include your teacher, you, your parent, and myself. Another would be after-school detention, and depending on the severity of any one of those infractions, it could be virtual ISS. If you drive here to school, we can also revoke school driving privileges. Moving forward to Group 2, these become a little more serious but can still be considered minor depending on the infraction. Posting or distributing unauthorized or written materials on school grounds, leaving the school grounds without permission, exhibiting any hostile or unacceptable physical actions, failing to abide by school rules and regulations, using or publishing profane, obscene, indecent, immoral, libelous, or offensive language and or gestures, defying the authority of school personnel, failure to provide proper identification, failing to attend class without a valid excuse, initiating any unacceptable physical contact, misconduct at school-sponsored events, violation of dress code, leaving a classroom campus without permission, disruptive behavior on the school bus, lying to school personnel, possession or drinking of energy drinks. Now, some of those items would be considered major offenses and some would be considered minor, depending on the severity of the action. This could include another conference with the teacher, the student, the parent, and the administrator. We also have lunch detention, after school detention, virtual ISS, and removal from the school bus, or we could also revoke driving privileges. As we continue into Group 3 of infractions, these are considered major offenses: gambling, fighting. Now, one of the things I want you to understand about fighting here at the high school campus, the first fight is up to 5 days of virtual ISS and a $25 fine. The second day is 30 days alternative placement, arrested by local law enforcement, and a $50 fine. The third fight is 45 days of alternative placement, arrested by local law enforcement, and a $75 fine. Then we move on to the next level of Group 3, which is instigating or participating in a fight that's premeditated. This will result in a hearing. Profane, obscene, indecent, immoral, or seriously offensive language or gestures, propositions or exhibits, or internet searches. Possession of cell phone or other electronic communications device. CD players, games, iPods, smartwatches, earbuds, AirPods, electronic device cameras, laser devices, or shocking devices. Violating safety or traffic regulations, including the playing of loud or offensive music on school grounds, habitual violation of the rules, any behavior that is seriously disruptive, endangering the health of another by piercing any part of the person's anatomy, FaceTime and live video of the school or classroom. Once again, some possible disciplinary actions would be a conference. It could be lunch detention, after school detention, virtual ISS, alternative program, driving privileges revoked, bus privileges removed, any cell phone, SIM cards, iPods, cameras, or laser or shocking devices will be confiscated. I also want to explain to students that there is a new law in place that if you have been suspended twice for a major infraction, after that second suspension, you will have to go through what we call a counseling services program. This will include the student, the school behavior interventionist, and an administrator. This is new to the state of Louisiana, but I do want to make students aware that that is in place. Students who have more than 2 serious offenses could be looking at alternative placement. As I said at the beginning of this video, we're here to help you create better habits. And ultimately, we want to see you do your best here at FHS. I hope I'm just covering these infractions as a formality. I hope I don't have to see you here in my office in trouble. I know you all want to come here and learn and do well. And I look forward to seeing you around campus, enjoying your education here at Franklinton High School. All right, so today I'm going to cover groups 4 and 5 under the acts of misconduct. These are behaviors that seriously disrupt the educational process, and in some cases, these behaviors may also be considered illegal. So the first one under group 4 starts with false activation of the fire alarm, extortion, assault with or without physical bodily harm, gang-related activities, signs, colors, numbers, etc., vandalism or criminal damage to property, bullying, harassment, cyberbullying, discrimination against, intimidation, coercion, or force, fighting that is more than 2 people, theft or possession of stolen property, possession, use, or delivery of fireworks, persisting in serious acts of disobedience or misconduct, inciting or participating in a riot, intentional disrespect, sexual harassment, altering school records, using technology without authorization, possession of material that advocates an illegal act, drug paraphernalia, hazing, possession or knowledge of vapes, tobacco products, lighters, matches, or evidence of tobacco use. Once a vape is confiscated, it will be discarded. Vapes are also subject to testing by local law enforcement. Your first offense for a vape would be 3 days of virtual ISS. The second offense is 6 days of virtual ISS. The third offense is 9 days of virtual ISS. And if you have 3 or more vapes on you at one time, that will require a school board hearing. Possession of and or under the influence of alcohol, violation of multiple cease and desist, possession and or distribution of pornography on school grounds through the use of any media, threat of or bodily harm to a student. So some of the possible disciplinary actions would be possible police notification, disciplinary reassignment, virtual ISS, alternative program, restitution, possession and or use of alcohol, intoxicating substances warrants 9 days of virtual ISS and counseling outside of the school setting. And depending on the severity, the Department of Children and Family Services will be notified. So Group 5, these acts of misconduct include those illegal student behaviors that most seriously disrupt the orderly educational process. These are aggravated assault attempts, arson, use, possession and or concealing of a weapon or a look-alike firearm, robbery, burglary, delivery or distribution of any controlled substance, sex violations, sexting, aggravated battery or simple battery, disorderly conduct, trespassing, possession, knowledge of, or under the influence of a look-alike substance or mood-altering chemical or drug, possession, knowledge of, or under the influence of any controlled dangerous substance, possession or knowledge of over-the-counter prescription drugs, possession or knowledge of drug paraphernalia, engaging in any illegal behavior under the influence of alcohol or illegal substance, vandalism, criminal damage of personal property or school property, bomb threat, leaving the designated area without supervision, threat of or bodily harm to school personnel, threat against the school, refusal of search. So some of those disciplinary actions would include police notification, disciplinary reassignment, virtual ISS, alternative program. It could require counseling services for any substance use, restitution, and DCFS notification.
Hi guys, and I'm Carly Phillips, and I am your FFA president of this year. You should know this about off-campus activities. School rules apply on field trips, and you must be in school for half a day to participate in field trips or other school activities.
Hey everyone, welcome to Franklinton High School for the 2024-2025 school year. I am Mrs. Buchanan, and I am here to let you know about our new cell phone policy. So things have changed a little bit. You are no longer allowed to have your cell phone after the first tardy bell in the morning. So after that first tardy bell rings, you are no longer allowed to have your cell phone until your lunch or your recess. Once it's your lunch or your recess, you're allowed to have your phone during that time. After your lunch or your recess, you are required to put your cell phone back in your book bag. Your cell phones cannot be in your pockets. They cannot be on your person. If you're caught with your cell phone, they will be confiscated. For the first offense, that will be $25. For the second offense, that'll be $50. The third will be $75. So let's make sure that we're not giving away unnecessary money. Let's not say, hey, last year it was different and I was able to have my cell phone in between classes. I'm letting you know now, things have changed. You are only allowed to have your phone before the first tardy bell in the morning, during lunch and recess, and then after the final bell, the 3:20 bell in the afternoon. If you have any questions, I'm sure that your teachers as well as the administration staff will be more than happy to assist you. With that being stated, I hope that you have a great school year, and we look forward to learning and growing.
Hey there. Hope the first couple of days have been going good for you. I wanted to go ahead and make sure I brought up one more policy that's super important. I wanted to talk about the sexual harassment policy. In the sexual harassment policy, staff to student and student to student sexual harassment will not be tolerated. Incidents of sexual harassment may include verbal harassment, written or visual harassment, such as derogatory comments, jokes, or slurs, or remarks of a sexual nature. Physical harassment, such as cartoons, graffiti, drawings, looks, or gestures, are also considered harassment. Harassment does not only depend upon the perpetrator's intention, but also how the person who is the targeted perceives the behavior or is influenced by it. This is really, really important because a lot of us have really, really different senses of humor. And you have to pay attention if you're making somebody uncomfortable. Somebody does not have to understand that you're joking. Once you notice you're making somebody uncomfortable, you got to stop. No ifs, ands, or buts. So with that being said, realize you need to make an adjustment. Simply apologize. Oh, my bad. I didn't really mean to. But once you've gone so far, sometimes it's already crossed the line. But at least own that behavior, and that might make a big difference. Lastly, report instances to the principal, and he will investigate and resolve the situation within 5 days. There's no reason why you should walk around with this sense of nobody's doing anything. Sexual harassment needs to be taken care of, guys. And at the end of it all, if you still are not satisfied, Miss Tiffany Smith at Central Office, she is the supervisor of child welfare and has a district contact number. You can find her on Google. You can look up the Washington Parish website. All of your school board members are on there. So please take this serious. Please respect people if they are feeling uncomfortable by certain things you're saying. You could be crossing the line. Please be very careful, y'all, and enjoy your school year. Be awesome.